You possum peeps, today is Friday, June 21st, 2024, and you're watching the Weekly Paw. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the editor-in-chief and co-publisher of Pet Lifestyles magazine. Today's episode is going to be a little shorter than normal for a couple of reasons. One, unfortunately, my hand. Yes, I'm going to be in this for a little while. The doctor said that, and I quote, "It's the worst arthritis I have seen in someone under the age of 80 in over 30 years of practice." Basically, my thumb joint, all the cartilage is gone. And yes, I am in physical or occupational therapy, rather. Do yourself a favor. If you have arthritis or you have any kind of replacement, like knee replacement surgery, those kinds of things, and the doctor tells you go to therapy, do it. It will make you feel so much better. It's a lot of work and it's painful work, but it's worthy work because it does make you feel better at the end of the day. The other reason for the short episode, unfortunately, hell has officially arrived in New York City. The heat wave. Heat indexes are 100 to 105, and it's not just the New York tri-state area either, folks. There are a lot of regions in the United States right now that are under a heat dome, which means that those indexes are trending much higher than they normally are. And it doesn't help that every 2 seconds, my text messages are going off, my emails are going off with heat advisories, this advisory, that advisory, basically saying that if you step outside your front door, you're going to die, okay? The alarmist mentality has taken over the media in so many ways. Anyway, my point is very simple. The heat wave is really bad, and it's going to continue until the end of day Sunday. As such, please do me a favor. Check on your elderly neighbors, check on those who have young children, check on those who have respiratory issues, and check on those who have pets, okay? I obviously live in a Manhattan apartment, so I have a lot of neighbors. And believe it or not, I actually do check on them. I just ask that you do the same thing for their health as well as yours. All right. Let's start this episode off in terms of the news. Sorry, the humidity has just got me a little croaky. So we're going to start off with an event that Kylie and I went to yesterday. Then we're going to get into some tips and tricks from our official dog training partner, Kate Perry, of Kate Perry Dog Training and Daycare Center, to help you get through this heat wave this weekend. All right? So, as I was saying yesterday, Kylie and I went to an event at Bite-A-Wee, and that was for Lesor's latest and greatest outdoor and travel collection for dogs. What a sweet, fun, and informative event. Check out these photos. There were so many very pawsome elements to this event, including human charcuterie that was flanked by barcuterie for the pups, Pupper Cup ice cream for dogs, an illustrator to do drawings of your forever one, and, to my surprise, I got to reconnect with a very dear old friend of mine who is now known as the New York City Pawtographer. Her name is Carmen Gonzalez. Carmen was on site doing pet photos and that kind of thing. Stunningly talented woman. Her talent literally knows no bounds. So, as I said before, I've known Carmen a long time. I've worked with her almost as long, okay? She was Chef Carmen Gonzalez. And as you guys know, my mother was one of the founders of the James Beard Foundation. So I've spent my entire life with 4- and 5-star chefs. Carmen not only was an award-winning chef, she was wildly celebrated. She had restaurants that were incredibly successful. And she was on Top Chef Masters. So you know the woman has chops. Well, she turned in her knives for a camera and is now doing a lot of volunteer work in pet photography for rescue. She also does portrait work. So check out the URL on your screen to learn more about Carmen. You know, it had been a few years since before the pandemic that I had seen Carmen, and then obviously we had a few years of the pandemic. So it was this one hit especially close to home in the coolest of ways to reconnect with her. So it was great seeing you, my dear friend. All right, now, despite the scorching temperatures outside, the Lesor event, had plenty of refreshments for dogs and humans alike. They had specific areas to experience the products, such as the elevated bed, cooling blankets, a collapsible soft-sided crate, car seat beds, and car seat covers, and much, much more. All of these products with fashion-forward fabrics and colors. And look, I got to tell you guys, I've been doing this a long time. And this collection literally ticked off all of the boxes. The products are beautiful, the color offerings are stunning, and the functionality. Wow! They literally went out of their way in almost every way to make these products easy to use, easy to clean, and easy to enjoy for your forever friends' comfort. They also made them so that you don't break your fingers putting some of these things together. So, let me give you an example. When you're traveling with your dog, okay, Briorio is 58 pounds, okay? So we have a crate in our home. It's a very large crate. That's her space. When she wants to be alone, sometimes she'll go in there. We'll often put a frozen Kong in there for her to enjoy for a timeout for a little bit so that she's on her own and gets used to... She does suffer from a little bit of separation anxiety. So we try and do this to let her get used to being alone a little bit. Now, putting together a travel crate, if we were going to take Brie on the road, you end up breaking your fingers trying to, get those metal wire walls together. Your fingers often get stuck in between them. You can also just end up with serious black and blue fingers, which can be incredibly painful. The Lesueur collapsible soft-sided crate has none of those issues at all. And it's light. So the same is also true of the elevated beds. Usually those things are a pain in the neck to put together and to take apart, especially when you're going out on the road. At the event, I did it in literally less than a minute. Now, the reason why is very simple. The functionality and innovation in their products, they use a lot of different parts than, let's say, the standard manufacturers do. So it makes it easier to pull them apart and put them back together. It's very user-friendly and very simple, but it's also still incredibly stable as a series of products. So, sometimes you get a crate, and it might be a cheap crate, in which case the plastic may snap because it's not going to be wire, that kind of thing. And usually on the box it'll say, with those cheaper crates, easy to assemble. Okay, great, but that's if it doesn't snap and break. In Lesueur's case, it's incredibly stable, it's very well constructed, and that functionality, those innovation, is just amazing. So, it really pawsome line of products. Lesueur's products are sold on Amazon, which you can reach either by going to the URL on your screen or going to Amazon.com and searching for Lesueur. Now, some of their newer products aren't on their site yet, but they are available already on Amazon. One of those is like the orthopedic air mattress, and I believe the car seat covers are coming next week to their primary site. Now, of course, you know how much OLSP loves a Pawsome goodie bag, okay? At the event, sorry, the humidity's got me a little croaky. At the event, these guys handed out beautiful goodie bag. I mean, look at how well done this is. The branding, it's just so cute and so sweet, just like the event was. I mean, in literally every single way. So let's go through this really quickly, okay? Claudia's Canine Bakery dog treats. These are really cool. I can't wait for Brie to try them this weekend. They also had a branded poop bag dispenser. And for humans, in a branded pouch, they put in sunblock and SPF lip balm. Very thoughtful and very cool. Now, the piece de résistance, if you will. In each goodie bag, they gave away a cooling blanket. Now, just look at the packaging unto itself. It's simple, very straightforward, very informative, very cut and dry. This is beautiful packaging. It's very well done by these guys. Now, this is the cooling blanket, okay? I mean, just take a look at the sheer size of this thing, all right? And it works incredibly well, okay? It comes in a variety of colors, but the mint green is the one that I got. And I got to tell you, last night, with indexes at about 95, I turned off the AC for a bit, and I put this on Brie. And she had been panting before because we had just come back from a walk. So I put this on top of her, and she cooled down very quickly. So amazing construction, really comfy and cozy, but it still keeps you cool. So really, really well done products, guys. Now, the goodie bag itself, yeah, I love goodie bags. They're fun. But the fact that they included a hard product like the cooling blanket, I thought that was absolutely pawsome. And, you know, I got to tell you, given the heat wave right now, I can tell you, having this cooling blanket is going to come in very handy this weekend. All right, so we're going to feature Lesueur's pawsome products in both Pet Lifestyles and New York Lifestyles magazines in the coming months, so stay tuned for that. I really do love this brand. You know, it just, everything about it makes sense, and I don't get to say that terribly often, so thank you for that, folks. You know what to do here. Head over to that URL on your screen now, okay? So let me give a special thanks and shout out to Carol Ward at 5W, who's the publicist for Lesueur. You did a pawtastic job, my new friend. Congratulations. Now, speaking of pawsome stuff, just quickly, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Meatloaf's Kitchen for sending the 4th of July biscuits for Briorio. They look stunning. Just look at this photo. I mean, talk about detail and beautiful. I can't wait for Brie to try them this weekend. All right. Now, because we are in the middle of a serious heat wave, I asked our official dog training partner, Kate Perry, of Kate Perry Dog Training and Daycare Center, to give us a few tips and tricks to help you get your forever friend through the next few days. You know, folks, please bear in mind, according to the Farmer's Almanac, the National Weather Service, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, this summer will be one of, if not the hottest on record. That means we're all going to have to take extra steps and precautions for our forever ones this entire summer. So please remember, also, a dog's natural temperature is between 101 and 102. And because most have fur coats, it's very important to keep them as cool as possible. Now, aside from panting, the only other area of a dog's body that helps them cool down is through their sweat glands in their paw pads. So here are a few tips to help you on your journey this summer. Cooling mats and cooling vests, of course, or in today's episode's case, check out the cooling blanket from Lesueur. Now, kiddie pools set up in your backyard or terraces for them to stand in cold water. Now, if you live in a major urban metro like we do in New York City, and you don't have access to either a backyard or a terrace, even spraying a large ice-cold bottle of water on your dog is going to help. Now, there's one extra step you should be taking when the heat index goes above 90 degrees. Just for yucks, hear me out. We don't run out barefoot onto the street or onto the sidewalk, right? So you don't know what the temperature of that walkway is going to be. Take the palm of your hand, put it on the sidewalk. If you can't keep your hand there for a count of 5, then your dog's paw pads should not be on that walking surface at all, okay? And if you have to take them out, and it is in fact that hot, what I would suggest is you put mushers on their paws, because what it'll do is it'll block the heat from actually getting to their paw pads, okay, and burning it. Normally during the winter we recommend it to avoid salt poisoning. So as you know, when it snows, a lot of major cities throw out lots of rock salt to melt the snow down. Same thing in buildings in New York City and on sidewalks. So you put the mushers on in order to guard their paw pads from getting burned by the salt melting or the chemical reaction that melts that snow down to the ground. Now, during temperatures like this, you also want to keep walks short on extra hot days and walk on the shady side of the street. Now, if you live in suburbia or you live in a rural area, the same logic holds true. You may not have a street to walk on, but make sure you're walking in the shade because the ground is still very hot. Even though there isn't cement there, you're still going to run into some issues, okay? Take the time, or rather time the walk, to be extra early or later in the evenings to avoid the extra heat. And lastly, according to Kate, here's a tip just for city dwellers. Stop in at dog-friendly bank foyers or vestibules to get a blast of their air conditioning whilst on your walk. Folks, from literally within a 2-block radius of the front door of our apartment building in New York City, there are 4 bank vestibules that I've actually walked into with Bree in order to keep her cool. Now, when you get back from your walk, offer ice cubes, or if you're like Kylie and I and love to spoil your forever one, offer frozen watermelon or frozen blueberries to help them cool down. You know, no matter what you do, you just want to make sure that your pet is safe, okay? And weekends like this, as rare as they are, can be brutal for a dog. It can also be brutal for a cat. So you want to make sure you keep your air conditioning on. And again, please do me a favor. If you're healthy, if you're an able-bodied adult, just check on your neighbors and make sure they're okay, especially the older ones and those who have children and those who have pets, okay? Last week, I said I'd talk about the double travel ball from Loving Pets today. Well, unfortunately, as it has been an insane week and insanely hot, I've not had the chance to use this product with Bree yet. So, we're going to put this in next week's episode. Oh, before I forget, fair warning. Next week's episode falls on my birthday. I already have a fundraiser on my Facebook page. If you go to Facebook and search for Sean-Patrick M. Hillman, which you see on your screen, you'll see the page and you'll see the link. Please donate. You know, Best Friends Animal Society is the beneficiary of this year's birthday fundraiser, so if you can help out, that would be awesome. All right, welcome to this week's Furry Friday. This is the part of the episode where we talk about adoptables in the shelter or rescue they came from. Now, this week, in honor of our friends at Lesueur and the event that we just went to yesterday, which took place at Bite Away, we're going to promote a couple of their adoptables for a second week in a row. Yes, 2 weeks in a row of Bite Away. Now, remember, it is kitten and puppy season, folks. A very busy time for rescues and shelters across the country. And then on top of the heat dome that's basically over this country right now, I imagine a lot of these facilities are going to be overrun and extremely busy. So, if you're going to adopt this weekend, do me a favor. I am not saying don't go adopt. I am not saying don't go to the shelter or rescue. What I am saying is go. Absolutely go. But make sure you have a good amount of patience with you, okay? When the heat spikes like this, tempers flare and people get unreasonable, all right? So a lot of these folks are volunteers for these organizations, and I am sure are overwhelmed already, especially with kitten and puppy season. Now, if you are out and about and you see somebody with a rescue leash, okay, it's got a flag on it that says adopt, do yourself a favor. Please go up and say thank you to that person, because they're either volunteering or they're fostering for a rescue or a shelter. And it is, in many respects, a thankless job, okay? And we want to make sure that we're encouraging people to participate in the community. All right, back to the adoptables from Bite Away. First up is Sonia, a 3-month-old female pup at the Bite Away Manhattan facility in Chelsea. Oh my God, just look at that face. What a stinking cutie. Sonia is a medium-sized pup that will likely weigh between 20 to 59 pounds. So let me take a quick break on this and explain something to you. I talked about this last week, but I just wanted to bring it up again just in case. You want to make sure that you check your homeowner's paperwork. If you're renting, you want to make sure you check your lease to see either whether there's breed restrictions in the building or community you live in. You want to make sure there aren't weight restrictions. Often, landlords in major cities will cap a weight, a total weight that you're allowed to have in terms of pets. So it's either 25 or 50 pounds is the norm. I'd say about 99% of pet-friendly buildings cap that weight at 25 or 50. That means that you can have 2 or 3 pets, but the total weight of those 2 or 3 pets has to be 50 pounds or less, okay? Now, next up is a bit of a forgotten Friday nod to 80s rock and roll. Meet Cat Benatar, a 3-month-old female kitten at their Manhattan facility. I love rescues and shelters naming conventions. They are often so funny. And Cat Benatar is a perfect description for this stinking cutie for sure. So, now let's talk about Bite-A-Wee. Bite-A-Wee's mission is to create and strengthen the human-animal bond through best-in-class life-saving and compassionate care for pets and the people who love them. They have 3 locations, Manhattan, Wantagh, and West Hampton, all out on Long Island. Now, I've worked with Bite-A-Wee for years. Great organization that just does so much for the local community. And remember, adopt, foster, donate, volunteer. Whatever you can do, even just sharing this video, the more people that know about Bite-A-Wee and their mission, the more animals we can save together. If you're going to donate, whatever you give, okay, whatever you can give, doesn't matter if it's a penny, $1, $10, $10,000. Every penny counts in the fight to save them all. And now that we're done with this piece, as has become tradition on the Weekly Paw, I have to give a quick shout out to our packmates at Best Friends Animal Society. They're just a great national organization that does so much. That's why I chose them for my birthday fundraiser. So please head over to Facebook and search my name. You'll see the fundraiser. It's open till July 5th. Now, remember to adopt, foster, donate, and volunteer everywhere you can. Welcome to this week's TGI Furry. This is the part of the episode where we show you a few memes we found throughout the week to hopefully end the episode on a smile or a laugh. And hopefully, we've done just that. All right, folks, I'm out of time. I hope you guys stay pawsome, stay cool. We'll see you next week.